Hi, and welcome to Courageous Conversations. My name is Tasha Manzi, and today we are joined by my beautiful, beautiful friend and sister, Bertha Angelo. Bertha, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is Bertha Angelo, and what can I say? There's not much, there's not much to say because I'm not good at talking about myself. But hi, hello. That's all you gonna get.
Well, I'm going to share a little bit about you since you don't want to talk about yourself. Bertha is a mom. She's a beautiful human. She is um, the CEO. I don't know what you guys call it in the fashion industry, but she is the CEO, founder,
Oh,
whatever,
that
of
part.
Lamu. What is it called?
Lamu Designs.
Lamu Designs. Yeah, I knew that part. I just didn't know what name they would call you. What are you? The CEO, the founder, the what are you?
Um, CEO and head designer,
There we go. There
and
we go.
also, huh?
I said, there we go.
And also co-founder of Sound of Fashion Week CT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to share a little bit of, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share a little bit about what you've been going through the past couple months. And please,
Mhm.
I'm just going to introduce it and you can say whatever else you want to say about it. But my beautiful friend on New Year's Eve, going into 2023, had a stroke. So she is currently in recovery. And I invited her here because our topic tonight is faith. And I feel like she has exemplified faith amongst many other things, strength, courage, hope, many other things. But I just wanted to make sure that, I let everybody know that. And if you want to speak on that a little bit, please go ahead.
It's just sometimes we have that feeling of faith, but we ignore it because, of course, we lack faith. And when you have something traumatic happen to you, and you hear everybody around you talking about, "Oh, you're so lucky, you only had this," and you're like, "I'm lucky, I can't walk," and just keep listening to the stories, and then you realize, like, damn, I almost died. Something's keeping me here for a reason. And of course, you will question your faith. And then things that will happen to you that make you believe that, yes, channel
Okay.
that faith you feel and stop ignoring it.
So tell me if you're comfortable, because I only want to speak about things that are comfortable for you. And I only invited you on here because I know that you are someone who is open to sharing and open to,
Yeah.
talking about pretty much everything. And I think you exemplify why I started this. This is called Courageous Conversations. And over the, how long have I known you? I might not even
Oh
want to
my
age myself like that,
God.
but like
Okay. We could
30,
count
we'll just say around 30 years.
from 1990
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
on.
whoa, whoa. Don't be telling all the
I ain't ashamed.
Go ahead. When was it? Tell me when it was.
Huh?
1990 what?
1990.
1990.
1990, I
Wow.
moved to Connecticut, met y'all that fall, and it's been love ever after.
I absolutely agree. Tell me, other than your physical stuff, like the physicality of having a stroke, not
Mhm.
being able to walk. I remember when you first were in, the hospital and you not being able to speak. Well, you were able to speak, but it was definitely difficult for you to speak and get across what it is that you were trying to say. Um, and you did remain funny throughout every second of that, even when
Listen,
I'm
let me tell
sorry,
you.
just I got to
Sorry
share
to
this.
cut you off,
Even
but
when she could not form a complete sentence and her words were slurred, the one thing that came through was that she was cracking jokes. That's just who you are.
okay,
We're over
okay,
here in
so
tears, and you're over here cracking jokes.
the my medical background, I know once you have a stroke, you might lose your speech. So in my mind, because there's like a couple people that live there, you got to keep talking. You can't lose your words. So like I kept on saying is, I don't want to lose my words.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to lose my words. So I was speaking Creole. I was like anything. I was just talking because I felt like if I stay quiet, I will go into my head and I will
Yes,
recover a crazy person. I don't need to be
absolutely.
any more crazier than I am right now. So no, we're not doing that. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna speak. My sister, I can remember my sister telling me, "Shut up." I'm just like, no, you're not gonna make me lose my words.
Oh, I remember.
I
You're like,
heard
I'm
this
going to talk.
recording. I heard there's a recording. I don't know who has it. They won't tell me, but I heard it's bad. I just want to see it because I keep on saying it was the drugs. It was the drugs.
It was the
But yeah,
drugs and partly just you being you. Ah,
yeah. It's
no
just I was worried
filter.
about having a droopy face because that never
Yeah,
goes back to what it was before. Also too, my face is still very numb. And the
yeah,
best way to describe it is like going to the dentist
yeah.
and you're getting Novocaine in your cheek. That's what it feels like for my whole
Wow.
face.
And it's been
Yeah.
6 months now, right?
Six,
Yeah,
maybe
6 months. In a couple days, it's been 6 whole months.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you? How has that tested your faith or helped you discover a new level of your faith? Uh,
Yes.
speak on that if you,
Falling on the floor while trying to go to the bathroom will call on to your faith. Trust me. You can't get
yeah,
up. And it's like just every day that I have a new accomplishment, I give the gratitude to faith because just praying and begging God to heal you and just like almost like a manifestation of just like I don't know if I'm saying the word right, just like
yeah,
calling it and
manifestation.
just calling it and then just speaking it over and over again. That all of that has to do with faith because what else? You have to believe that you call on it and you will have it. You know, it's a
That's
lot of
that's
things.
beautiful, Bertha. I don't
Yeah.
know if you hear what you're saying, and I can't wait for you to watch this back because that is exactly what it means to manifest. Manifestation, which is this new popular word that everybody's using, literally means having an incredible amount of faith that the things that you want to happen will
Mhm.
happen. And this stroke is a concrete example of manifesting because you have to truly believe that one day you are going to be back to full capacity. You're going to walk again. You're going to do all of the things that you used to do again. And I'm pretty sure you're throwing in, I want to be better. I want to do these things. You might even be thrown in there. I want to run. I want to, frolic on the beach. Like, I don't, whatever it is that you are seeing
I
in your
agree.
mind as I want that to happen. That's exactly what manifestation is. It's not some woo-woo thing. It's literally completely having faith
It's mind
that
over
what you see
matter.
for yourself in the future is going to happen. And you,
It's more to me than just this is happening. And at first, it was hard to accept it because I was like, just why me? Why me? Why me? And I had to start saying that was for me. I needed that. I needed to sit my ass down and think about everything because I was just going and not making proper decisions on things. So, and how sometimes you pray for something and you're
yeah,
like, dang, I've been praying for something to happen and it ain't happening. So you start losing some of your faith.
what were you praying for, if you don't mind sharing? What is it that you
Just
were praying for to happen?
just a better relationship with my oldest daughter because we were arguing a lot and it was to a point where like we would not speak to each other for like 2 3 days in a row and I hated that
Yeah.
looking and just having extra money. Who doesn't want that? And I think that was about it. Like just abundance of whatever that I wanted. And then this happened, and I was like, oh my God, why? I just became a doula. I'm doing good. I have delivered 4 births. I'm on my way to getting this, registering my name as a business. I can, start my little doula thing. And the state will also be adding doula services to the Husky insurance.
Wow, wow.
So I'm thinking like, what? I'm about to be on my way to achieving my financial abundance, ever. And then the stroke happened. So it's like, dang, what am I gonna do for money? Like, I'm thinking of all of that, like, but then I stopped thinking about it because there's certain things that happen. Oh, what was going to happen? So I just like, you know what? If this don't work out, I had this in the works before my stroke, so I will do whatever that is, and I worry about whatever later. My family, they do help, but I don't want to be a burden, so whatever. But every time something happened, I was able to take care of it. And now that with this, it's like the ideas that I have now to sit down and think about it properly. What kind of doula business I want, how it's going to benefit me. There's virtual doula, even though I can't leave the house. You know what? Different
Yeah.
things to make. I would have never be able to thought of that if I was going different distractions, like trying to
Your
make a
daily
dress.
grind, daily grind
Yeah,
of just trying to make it through the day and being distracted, like you call it, and pulled in all these different directions. Can I ask
that
you a
wasn't
question?
helping. Yes,
In the past 6 months since your stroke and on your road to recovery, and I really need people to understand how far she has come. The fact that she can be on this call right now with me, the fact that you can be on this call right now with me and I can understand every single word you're saying and that you are clear is such a beautiful blessing because a few months ago, it wasn't that. So I
it was
really,
like this,
you
like
know,
this.
I want to throw that in there. I don't want people to think that this is where you were 6 months ago. Like
Yeah, I had
it's
like
just it's
slur, a slow
amazing.
slur.
Yes. And it was very slow. It was a slur and it was slow.
Like I was drugged up.
Yes. Hmm. So my question is,
Yes,
because you said one of the things that was bothering you the most is your relationship with your daughter. How do you think your relationship with her is now, right now?
it's beautiful. Like when I tell you, we had a conversation, and I was telling her how I said I really didn't like you, but I didn't. I said I didn't really like you before, and I was like, now I see that you really love me, and we could get along because she would hug me every day. And she's like, I love you. We always said I love you. Even though we're mad at each other, because we have a big sign
Yeah.
at the door, always say I love you. We were mad at each other,
Mhm.
you leave in the house, you buy my love you, see you later. Okay. But she said, and then she looked and she goes, I ain't like you either. You get on my nerves. I was looking for an apartment. This is expensive.
I have to go.
So we laughed about it and I was just like, I'm happy we're able to laugh at it now. Because we're a weird family. We laugh at our tragedies. You see, I'm laughing at the fact I couldn't speak. It's just funny. It's just now we're laughing now that she's taking care of me and she's mocking everything that I've been going, all my accidents and everything. She's like, "Oh, I had an accident," and mocking me like this, and I'm just like cracking up. Like we didn't have that for a while. She would go to work, go in her room, go to sleep, walk by me, don't speak. And that would break my heart, but I gotta let her go through what she gotta go through. I can be like,
Absolutely.
just because I'm your mom, you gotta talk to me. No, you upset. I'm gonna respect the fact that you're upset and let you do your thing. And then when you calm down, you're gonna talk to me, even if it take a week for you to calm down. You're gonna talk to me. And it always works out. For the couple of days we didn't speak, I would just be like, But then I will always find a way for us to speak anyways, because you just gotta go talk to them first and whatever. But it was fun. But now we haven't had that. And I appreciate that so much. It's like my two youngest, and they're like, they're crazy. Like they don't care about nothing. They just do what they gotta do. And then so, but me and her, I guess because it was me and her first all the time, you
Absolutely.
know. And now we're grown women. Like something happened to me. And I'm trying to deal with it the best way I can, you know? If I feel like, oh, I can move my arm a little bit more today, I'll do that, you know? I give 100% at physical therapy because I have to, because I'm not
Absolutely.
accepting this. I'm going through it, but I'm not just going to accept and be like, oh, well, this happened and whatever. We're going through phases. There's a phase that I'm going through. It's
I
like a
love
bad
that
break.
that's your mindset.
Yes,
Yes.
you got to
This is
change
not
it.
my forever. This is a phase. This is a stage. This is
Yes.
something I needed, something, and some people look at it and be like, this is something I needed to sit my butt down. Like you said, like
Yeah.
I never had the time to sit down and really think about what I do. And I'm gonna share something because whether you take a pause in your life or whether life forces you to take a pause. Sometimes in life, we do have to stop. We have to stop and really sit with ourselves and ask ourselves, what am I doing? Where am I really going? What do I want? Because we didn't, I'm going to bring this to my brother in law. My brother in law said in Africa, around the age of 40, that people in his culture, they take what's called, like, he didn't give me the name of it, but it's like a break. So once you hit 40, you take a break and you kind of look at your life and then decide if you want to stay there or you want to move in a different direction. And it's a whole thing in their culture that they do. It's a transition, just like they have rituals for when boys become a certain age and girls become a certain age, all that. What is it called? What is the word that I'm trying to say? Rite of passage, I'm going to call it. So at this age, at like around 40, it's a rite of passage. It's where everybody around you knows that at this age, you're going to take a pause and you're going to figure out if how you're moving in life is what you really want to do. You could look at me deciding to quit my job as a self-forced pause, right? You can look at you having a stroke as a God imposed whatever. It doesn't matter if it was self-imposed or if it came from God. I feel like we understood, or we were told that we needed to stop. It is time to sit down and to really, really take account, like take in where we're at, because
You know
this
what's
is what
strange?
this you do. It's making you have to sit down and have to deal with
Yeah.
yourself and have to start making decisions based off of right now. It's what you want.
Mhm.
I
But
don't know if this is making
I'm gonna
sense
share
to you.
something with you that's
Go
real
ahead.
crazy, right? Throughout my life, I just feel like I hate to leave. You know how they say leave the party while it's still good, but you
Yeah.
always, I'm the one that like to stay to the last person leave. And I just feel like now that I have time to think about it, like God always pushed me out. My first job straight out of high school, was at their nursing home. We're not gonna say their name. I was there for forever, but I wanted to do fashion. So I'll do that on the side. And and I only realize this when I meet people that I haven't seen in a while. I'm like, I remember you used to talk about doing fashion all the time. And I don't remember those conversations. So I was like, dang, I was talking about it that long. But I
Right.
was at my job for that long, doing something. I loved my job, but I didn't love it anymore. I was just liking it. It was paying the bills.
It wasn't
So
satisfying for you. Whatever was inside you, that job was not satisfying you, in the words of my 9-year-old Amir. That's not satisfying, mommy. I'm not satisfied.
yeah, I would go to work, come home, so all night long because I worked the second shift. And I would do it, and I was just like, I started doing shows, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Signed up for fashion school, all that junk while I was there, but I was still there till I got fired, and I had no choice but to go, and I felt like that was God. Now, not even only with that, to even with moving out of where I was in the situation I was in. There for so long trying to make the decisions of what I need to make. And my lease was supposed to be renewed. And you know what? God said, nope. The landlord said she's not renewing my lease. That gave me the opportunity to do what I needed to do. I just feel like I always need to be pushed out of something and I need to more to follow my faith and do what I need to
Yes,
do. It always
Bertha,
falls back to that, huh?
absolutely. And what I'm realizing, because I was thinking today about this conversation and what faith means to me and how it shows up in my life. And I was like, faith requires courage. Faith requires the ultimate courage. You have to truly be afraid and do it anyway,
Yeah.
right? And if we're not exercising our faith, exercising your faith means putting your own self in the situations where you have to show that you're faithful. And maybe when we're not doing that, God knocks us on the back of the head and says, hey, I know what's in you. I know what's in you. I know your heart. I know your spirit. But for some reason, you're locked into this fear and you're not going to move, because that's how I felt at my job. And I think there's different levels of this, right? Because I left my job. That was my decision. But I only left after I was so uncomfortable and I started to feel so spiritually drained. Like, you know, that point in your life where you're like, what I'm doing right now is hurting me. Going into that building every day had started to hurt me. I felt it in my body. I felt it in my spirit. I felt it in my mental. I felt it in
That's
my
how you
mind. I
gotta
felt it in my
go.
emotion. You know what I'm talking about. So it took for me to get to that, even though I knew like 6 years ago, I still was afraid, afraid of what people would think, afraid about feeding my family, afraid of all of these things. And it took for me to become that uncomfortable and that, like, it was like code red at that point. Like, if something is eating at your spirit, it's a code red situation. So whether it was because of your stroke or whether it was because of me deciding to leave my job, I truly feel like everything in our life is to teach us something and to show us something about ourselves. And maybe it was to see, because we hadn't shown enough of how faithful we are, to test our faith.
You know something like I hate crying. Even at my mom's funeral, like I was like, you know, like just let one little drop go down because I hate it when I see people like wailing and doing all of this stuff, and I'm just like, oh guys, let me tell you, I've had plenty of those moments, and I apologize to anybody who will. It's like I, I am so emotional since my stroke, and it's just like I hate it. I, wait, we don't use hate anymore. I dislike it very much because it's just
Why?
like
Tell me why. Why do you dislike it so much?
tears to me are very vulnerable. Like, oh, she's crying, she's weak. Let me just, because that's what's putting me
You
in
said
that
she's
shit.
what? She's weak?
She's weak, she's crying. It's like, I don't know. I have a problem with sympathy towards me. I don't know if I'm in therapy, okay? We're not going to, I'm in therapy right now. And we're working on the whole tear thing. But when I tell you, like, I had an accident and I was crying because I had an accident. But then next day, we're laughing about it because I was crying. This is how messed up me and my kids are. He was like,
It's not
because
messed up. I think it's just how you've learned to cope. You've used laughter for so long, and because you felt like crying was just not something that you could do. So if you switched it for laughter. I mean, you're going to deal with your therapist and talk to them about that. I'm not going to give you no advice on that, but I do know that I do know that the
I don't
older
even
I've
think you could
gotten,
figure me
the
out.
more emotional that I've gotten. And what I learned about those tears that I've been releasing in my healing journey the past 4, 5 years is that it felt like a release. I call tears a release valve. It's just letting out all the pressure, it's letting out all the weight. And it got to the point where I would invite the crying. Not that I wanted to cry on purpose, because just like you, I was raised to be like, wipe them tears. What are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry for. That goes back generations, right? I'll give you something to cry about. So we know how to hold back tears. We know how to do that. We are professionals. But the day I decided I didn't care who sees me cry, I cry in front of my kids every day. And I cry every day. That's not even a joke. I cry every day. Sometimes that crying is releasing old hurt and wounds. Sometimes that crying is I've laughed so hard that I've almost peed myself. I'm sorry. This is called courageous conversation. I'm gonna be on. I cried so hard that I almost peed myself and my eyes are leaking. It could be that I pretty much cry with all of my, not all of my emotions, but certain emotions. If I'm extremely happy, if something's really funny, if I am a little bit sad, or if I'm releasing some old stored, trauma from my past, and that causes me to cry. So pretty much I cry. I'm not even gonna say pretty much. I know I cry every day. Sometimes I just cry because I feel like it and it's there. And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but my body wants to let out those tears and I let it. I'm a yoga instructor. So for me, it's just stuff stored in our body, energy stored in our body, and it needs to release. It doesn't want to be trapped in there. We can't be our full, loving, whole selves if we're holding on to things that happened to us a month ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 42 years ago. You can't you just can't hold on to that stuff. And I feel like tears are one of the ways that, speaking only for me, that's how I release some of that stuff.
Couple friends had to relate and then give me encouragement. And I look forward to that. And I feel like that's part of faith right there. Like, um, faith is part of love, I think, too. I think it is.
How? Tell me how.
Because to have faith in something, you just feel all warm and tingly inside. And that's what love, to me, that's what love feel like. Warm and tingly, all in your belly. Yeah.
I get it. I I feel like, this has been a crazy year for me too. I quit my job. Um, that's a big deal for me. Like I quit my job, I got 2 kids, I stepped out on faith. And you're right, faith is a warm and tingly feeling because on those days where I'm like, I don't know if I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I'm going. I can't see. Doubting my decision, which are brief moments now. I doubt it briefly, but even in those moments, I just close my eyes and I just connect to something. And I know it's God, but I connect to, you can call it faith, you can call it, I connect to it, and it literally fills me from my abdomen all the way up. And it just fills me with this feeling of knowing that I'm protected, knowing that I am surrounded by something inconceivable with words. And it just gives me the strength and the courage to get through this day and know that I'm going to be okay today and to be able to face tomorrow. So that to me would define, what faith has been to me in the past 9 months of my life. Getting through today,
Yes.
knowing that I'm going to be okay, and actually allowing myself to enjoy the day.
You know what? I have like in my own private thoughts, like sometimes you have something to take care of and you need the money. And you see there's no way you could get the money. Like you don't ask your parents, you don't ask your sister, you don't ask your friends. And it's like the last the last quarter when you don't know where you're gonna turn, you just happen to go through some old clothes and find money in there, or somebody will give you some money, or I don't know, like for me, it would be like somebody will come place an order for a dress and leave their
Mm.
deposit. I'll find money in the clothes, money in the car, and it'll be like, you just need like a $20 for gas or something. To me, that was my faith moments. Like, I used to say, like, oh, I'll leave it up to God. Like, if I'm supposed to have some money, I'll have it. Because, sometimes keeping you from doing something or getting something, I'm a true believer in, like, when things don't go the way you want, it's protecting you from something that you really don't want, or something that was going to harm you in some kind of way, you know? Like, basically, my situation, like, I have time to sit down and just think for a minute, because I was just, okay. I said, yes, yes, I'll do it. Yes, okay. So God got his way of telling you to sit down, and this was his way of telling me to sit down. Look at it that way. And
I
I
get
never was,
emotional. I get emotional listening to you speak because the faith, the courage, the strength in your voice, and I don't know if you know how powerful you are. And I
and
and I don't even know if this has anything to do with faith, but that's what I feel when I talk to you. I'm like, if only she knew, if only she knew. And I think you know. I think deep down
did I
inside of
tell you
you,
my
you know.
story? Did I tell you what happened to me when I was on all them drugs?
You did.
So
God, I don't know if I'm ready, but this is called courageous conversations. So if we're gonna
no,
do
it's
it,
not. It's not
let's do
bad.
it.
It's not bad. But to this day, I don't know if it was the drugs, or did I really see what I saw. So, when I first had the stroke, I was in so much pain when I was in the ICU. It was so horrible, like really bad pain. It's like, the way I could explain it is like having a Charlie horse that never goes away,
Mm,
and it
mm.
gets stronger. Nothing could relieve it. You just have to stay there and take it. So I was moaning and groaning, and the hospital was terrible. They took so long to come give me my medication. I was just like, so when she finally came, I was still in pain because now I have no medication in my system, and I have to wait till this one starts working. They put in the IV, it goes straight to the vein, but it still needs time to take effect. So I'm just like, oh God, please take my life. I don't want to live no more. Just hurry up and do it. And I was like that. And I don't know if I fell asleep, whatever, but I know my eyes were open, and in front of me, it was like a tall glow, but I could tell it was a figure. No face, anything, no face, no nothing. I could get a masculine energy from it. And behind this figure was my mom. And, I lost my mom 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't speak. The figure didn't speak, but there was like a strong energy of disappointment coming from that figure. And then I woke up the next day and I was just like, oh, I want to do everything. I was making jokes. You know me, I always make
Oh, I
jokes.
know.
But still, after that, I was telling my family. My sister played. My sister played a voicemail. I sent her while I was in the hospital, and I was just like, I just want to die. Could give me. She was like, I will never delete it because you pissed me off that day. I was just like, I'm so sorry. It was the
she,
drugs.
she was probably gonna
It's
come
like,
take you out herself.
girl. But they would come in and be like, they're doing experiments on me or whatever.
I was
But
there that day.
oh, but after I had that situation, the next morning when I woke up, my neighbor learned my name. And she heard me moaning and she goes, oh, good morning, Bertha. I said, oh, good morning, you learned my name. She goes, yeah. I said, do you mind if I pray with you? She goes, oh, sure. And we said the Our Father. And then that was big for me because I don't pray in public. I think that's your personal relationship with God. Like, so I feel like that's where like my faith got stronger. And when the kids would come, we would pray. And I would text them every morning. Thank God for waking us up today. Have a good day. I love you. Like that was big for us because we never did that. We never ever did that. I don't want to get emotional, but
I'm
we
already
never
emotional, girl.
we never
I'm trying
prayed.
to keep it together.
Yeah, but I think that was my big faith moment. And still today, I don't know if it was the drugs or you do mushrooms. I've never done it. I can't wait, but
No,
you know,
no, I don't know, but I'm assuming from what I've heard that maybe it could.
we're gonna do it together as soon as I get back. And
Oh God.
there's a couple things. It's all gonna be because Tasha, I had to write everything down. So this
I
is gonna
know.
be in the book. So it's a couple things I can't remember now, but so many different things happened to me. I thought the cops was coming for me one morning, and I was just in my bed praying, like, I'm sorry I did it. And I was hallucinating. But the first thing we go to do is pray. And that's where the whole faith thing comes in, like, oh man, God, please get me out. And there's no there's no way of it, you in danger right away that it might not happen because maybe that was supposed to happen to you, but we're gonna pray anyways. Oh God, please don't let me fall. And you fall and bust your ass. Cause you
Put it out there. He said fall. God said, "Oh, I heard. Okay, fall. That's what you said. That's what you want."
yeah. But you know what? It depends on how deep your faith is. You
Absolutely.
would just see, you would look at it a different way. But if you don't have a lot of faith, you'll be like up disappointed that you fell. Why did
Yeah.
God let you fall and break your arm? You know, like
Yeah.
I could be very upset that this has happened to me right now, but I have to understand and I have to look at it a different way. There's a lot of really cool things and a lot of blessings that came out of this, you know,
Yeah.
like my relationship with my daughters, especially my older now, but now they getting tired of me. Like, they're getting exhausted.
It's a lot.
It's
They're probably
understandable.
just tired in general. Just
Yeah,
tired. It's a lot of work.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I'm a pain in the ass. Like,
A
I'm
little
so
bit.
used to just doing
Oh,
stuff
you
when I
are.
want.
Me too.
So I'm a little impatient. Like,
I
like if
just
I
heard
call,
Tamara yelling at you. You can't do what you, whatever she said. She said something like, you just want it your way. You want to do what you want to do. She's like, you need to listen to me. I was like, ooh, roles have reversed a little bit. The roles have reversed.
and I just
Yeah.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
since the situation, I'm not gonna stress it. Like,
Can
it's
I tell you
just,
something, Bertha, that I hear
yeah,
coming? That's just coming through for me right now. It's because you talked about how strong your faith got when you were in the hospital and you and your girls were praying and, taking your relationship from something you do, your relationship with God from something you do in private to a public setting and how that has strengthened your faith. And I think God is calling us to have that same faith even when we're not at the bottom. Like that faith and that passion we feel behind the faith, like when we're trying to save ourselves, that's how faithful we're supposed to be every day. And I
mhm.
feel like maybe we block our blessings when we don't wake up that faithful every day. It shows, maybe it's giving the message to God that we ain't as, we're not as down as we think we are with our faith. So if anything I've learned this past 9 months is to wake up that faithful every day, whether I feel good, whether I feel bad. And something that just popped into my mind is that faith, that feeling that we feel, and the thing that we're calling faith is our deep connection to God. Faith is our connection to God. So when we practice faith, we're practicing being
Oh yeah,
in God's presence. If there's anyone who is currently struggling right now with their faith, with a health issue, and they're just struggling, it doesn't even have to be something as as tough as a stroke. It could be depression, it could be anything. But if you had to give people words on how to show up faithful in the face of a situation that they feel like they're having a tough time getting through, what would you say?
I would just say that look at whatever that you're going through and trying to find one thing positive about it, and then just use whatever little faith that you have and put it into that and just keep feeding it with belief. And before you know it, it's not even that bad anymore. It's a little bit better, you know, but you still have work to do. Just keep believing it's going to get better and better. And pray. A lot of people don't know how to pray. I only know what I was taught in the Catholic Church, but I make up my own stuff, okay? I just talk to God and whatever, and just what kind of day I had. Oh, sometimes I'm not no big long speech. I just say thank you. I said just thank you about maybe 10 times. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And that be it sometimes. I wake up in the morning. Good morning, God. Thank you. Just acknowledging the fact that I'm grateful and I'm faithful because I know better. Not now, not because I'm injured, but what I experienced, you know? So now I have the faith that I needed to believe. But you have to do your part. You have to surrender everything. You just have to take time and think like this, whatever you're going through is part of your journey, your path, you know, and just believe it will be over soon, and just do what you need to do. Listen to people, like get help. I'm the worst person for that. I hate asking for help. Oh my God. But never ask for help. I need help with, because by me not asking for help, I almost hurt myself. So, and I did. So, help.
I get it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bertha, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you for your courage. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your inspiration. I mean, it means a lot to me that you would have this conversation with me. You know, I love you dearly,
I love you too. I was going to have this
dearly. And I'm
conversation with
so,
you, but I don't know it's going to share with everybody else. But you know who was going to have this conversation with Carlos, but now everybody gets to sit in on what we will talk about.
yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm also going to share a link, guys, because Bertha has been out of work and doing what she does to make a living for her and her family for the past 6 months. So I'm gonna drop a link for her GoFundMe. If you guys feel inclined, I ask if you feel it in your hearts to give to a beautiful human who would give the shirt off her back to anybody in need. So in her time of need, I hope that we could all do the same.
That was